Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you will forgive my croaky voice for this video because I am just in the process of getting over COVID but I needed to get this video finished and out of the way, so I hope you can put up with my voice. So today I'm going to show you how I created two fun fold cards using some purple paper. Now purple's not one of my go-to colours, but I had a whole pad of it. I don't even know why I bought it. Perhaps someone gave it to me. I think my granddaughter bought it actually because she likes purple, and used probably 1 or 2 pages out of it and then never came back to it. So anyway, I've decided to use this purple paper, and it fits in with the Halloween colours over at Mystical Scrapbooks for this week's retro TV program challenge. Anyway, so as I said, they're fun fold cards. This first one is a gatefold, so I'm cutting my cardstock so that, well, I cut it crooked, so I ended up with a card that was 5 inches square. So I end up with a piece that's 5 inches by 10 inches, and I score at 2.5 and 7.5. From the same cardstock, which is just a piece from my stash, I'm going to cut another panel that is 3.5 inches by 3 inches, and this is going to be the front panel that overlaps both of the front gatefold sections. I'm going for the shabby chic look on these cards, so it's going to be layers on layers. So because my card base is a dark colour, I'm looking for a light pattern paper. So I'm going to choose a light pattern paper, and then I'm going to cut that pattern paper. I'm going to cut one piece 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that will go on the inside back section of the card. So when you open the card, that will be the first thing you see. Then I'm going to cut 4 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. Now they're the 4 pieces that you'll see on the actual flaps that you open. So the inside will have that light pattern paper as well as the outside. The inside will only have the light coloured pattern paper. I won't be putting any other layers in there. So, and then I'm also going to cut a piece that's 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, and that will be the bottom layer on that front panel that we've just cut. As I said, I'm going to put multiple layers of pattern paper on this, and I wanted a division between the two pattern papers, so I'm going to cut some white cardstock now. This is the thinner cardstock that you get when you get the inserts in the albums when you buy them. So I'm going to start by cutting 2 pieces 4.5 inches by 2 inches and 1 piece 3 inches by 2.5 inches. So as I said, I won't be adding any extra decoration to the inside of the card, so I'm just cutting enough for the front panels of the card. And now my final layer of pattern paper, this darker one, I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 inches by 1 3/4 and 1 piece that's 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Now I'm going to distress all of the edges of all of those papers, the white and the pattern as well. Now there's several different ways you can do this. I've got 2 different tools. One, this Prima one that I'm using at the moment, it has a blade in the side, and it's no longer available. It is a multi-tool, and it has a bone folder and a few other tools that you can use in there as well. I also have this Tim Holtz edger distresser. These are still available. I've seen these at different places. They have in those little slits, they have blades, and those blades are what rough up the edge of your paper. If you don't have any of those, you can just use the edge of your scissors. So that does exactly the same thing. Open your scissors up and just rub it along the edge of your cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of my pattern papers, and then I'm going to use my purple ink cube. It's a Versacolor ink cube, just to ink around the edge of each of those scruffed up edges. It just adds a bit of colour and a bit of definition to each one of my layers. So now I've got all of my pattern papers prepared, I'm going to use double-sided tape to attach them to my card base. Now, as I said, the inside is going to just be one layer, and I'm going to add that first and then work my way out to the front. I'll just put this on fast forward and you can see how these all fall into place. When it comes time to add that front panel, I only add double-sided tape to the half, so the left half of the panel, and then add that to the card front so that the right hand edge is loose and still allows you to open the card. Because of the heavy pattern paper I've used on this card, I didn't want too much decoration on it, so I'm using this craft barn as a stamp and die set, but I've just used the die to create a flower. Now, I created that flower some time ago and it was just in my stash as a spare, so I was lucky this time round. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue to attach that to the lower left hand section of that front panel. The sentiment for this card comes from this paper rose pack called All Occasions. I selected one that says "Have an amazing time." Just cut it out from the sheet and cut a little fishtail in one end of it, and then inked around it with my purple ink cube, and then attached it to a piece of scrap chipboard before I attached it to the front panel of the card. I did cut another piece of that light pattern paper, 1.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches, to go on the back of the top panel that you can see when you open the card. I think it gave it that sort of like finishing look. The footage of my creating this purple card base didn't happen. I forgot to turn the camera on. I have actually gone ahead and created another one of these card bases, and you will see that clip at the end of this section that shows how I decorated this card. So if you want to see how I created the card, please watch to the end. Now, once again, I'm doing 3 layers on here. I'm doing a light pattern paper, a silver glitter paper, and the dark same pattern paper. So the light pattern paper, I cut 2 pieces 5 inches by 1 inch, 1 piece 5 by 5, 1 piece 2.5 by 5, and 1 piece 2.5 by 2.5, and 4 1-inch squares. The silver glitter paper, I cut 1 piece 4 3/4 inches square, 1 piece 2 1/4 inches square, and 2 pieces 4 3/4 by 3/4 inch. The dark pattern paper, I cut 1 piece, that's 4.5 inches square, 1 piece 2 inches square, and 2 pieces 4.5 inches by half an inch. So that was 2 pieces 4.5 inches by half an inch. Once I had all my paper ready, I distressed the edges of each of the pattern papers with my distressing tool and my ink. I used black ink this time, and then I used double-sided tape, or a mixture of double-sided tape and liquid glue to attach all of my layers to my card base. Once again, I'm sorry I didn't record the original construction of the card, but there will be a clip at the end of this video showing exactly how it's made using white cardstock. While I'm talking to you, I'm very glad that you're here watching my video today. As I said, I'm just in the throes of COVID, so I am quarantining for 7 days. Not much fun, and I haven't really felt like doing a great deal, but I am actually feeling a lot better at the moment, so I thought I'd get this video edited. Thank you for watching my video. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. That really helps. and don't forget to leave me a comment. I love reading your comments and I answer all the comments that I get. The sentiment for this card came from another pack of the Paper Rose sentiment sheets. This one's called, what's it called? Big Sentiments 1.0. I've used my Spellbinders standard circles small and standard circles large to cut the sentiment out, and also to cut a piece of the silver glitter paper out to mat my sentiment on. I have inked around the edge of each of those, layered one on top of the other just using normal tape, and then attach that to the front of my card on that square central piece using some scrap cardboard. I decided it was too hard to try and explain how to cut this last card out, so I'm going to cut out another one now so that you can see how it's done. So to start with, I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock that's 5 1/4 inches by 10 1/2 inches. Then I'm going to score that on the long side, so on the 10 1/2 inch side, I'm going to score that at 5 1/4. So I'm making a 5 1/4 inch square card. Now before I fold that, I'm going to bring my trimmer back in, and I'm going to put that score line on the 1 1/4 inch mark. Is it 1 1/4? Yeah, 1 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to cut that off. So here's my piece. This is 6 1/2 now by 5 1/4, and there's my score mark. So that's where I'm going to fold my card. So that's the start of my card base. So my card is going to be like that. Now this piece here, I'm going to move the edge of that to 1 1/4 and cut that off. So this is going to be the piece that goes down the bottom here. So that goes in there. And this piece here, I'm going to turn that long ways and trim that down to 5 inches. And I'm only cutting 1/4 inch off, but I'm doing that because I don't want it to hinder the fold here. So what I've got now then is that piece goes in the centre, this piece gets attached to the bottom. So to do that, so I'm going to position this in the centre sideways. So I think that it's about there. I'm not going to be too fussed. It looks about central to me. And you can see I've got it sort of a bit shy here and a bit shy there. So it's about 1/8 inch short at the top and 1/8 inch short at the bottom. So I'm going to use my glue. I'm going to put a row of glue along the top of that, like so, and a bit of glue along that one like that. I'm going to fold that down onto there. Try and make sure that I've got it nice and straight. Turn it over, burnish it down, because we want that to stick nicely. Next, I'm going to take my piece that I cut, 1 1/4 inches, I'm going to line that up on the bottom of the card. So I'm going to put a bit of glue along here, not too high, I don't want it poking out above, and a bit of glue here. And then I'm going to line this piece up with the bottom of the back of my card, so it's nicely lined up there, and then press that down. Once again, I'm going to open it up and make sure I haven't got any excess glue anywhere, and burnish that down. Oops. And so there we have the front and the back of the card. So it's quite simple to do. It's just that it's very confusing if you're trying to explain it. So there we have it. But as I said, all the measurements will be on my blog. So if you want the measurements for all the pattern paper, this, everything, all the measurements will be on the blog. And there will be a link to the blog in the description box below. So I hope you find that helpful. So there we have my 2 cards for today. As I said, using purple, something that I don't usually use, but something a bit different. Yes, thank you for watching my video, and I hope that you can join me when I post my next video. Thank you.